Hello friends, this is Worm, and every now and then Bungie will hand us a pile of gold, and I think they've done that here recently, and we'll talk about what it is we're talking about. But first, I wanted to remind y'all, I will be live Tuesdays and Thursday nights here on YouTube at 9 p.m. Central. So come on in and watch and join us and talk about Destiny. I love talking about Destiny. I could talk about Destiny all night, so I know there's some of y'all that probably could do the same. So yeah, come on over and watch them. But with that being said, let's talk about Fang, which is a really good weapon. In fact, just to put it into some perspective here, I have three weapons, or I have two other special weapons, exotic special weapons that have more kills than Slayer's Fang. Those are Wither Horde, which clocks in at 3,500 kills, and Vexcalibur, which clocks in, I want to say, at almost 9,000 kills on Vexcalibur. And then third place, of course, goes to this lovely shotgun, Slayer's Fang, which has 3,200 kills. The crazy thing about these kills, Wither Horde, I've had since way back in season 10, I think is when it was. Vexcalibur, I've had for a couple years, way back from whenever that was. Slayer's Fang, I've had for 6 days. 6 days. In 6 days, I put on 3,200 kills, and I know that number is going to go way up because it is an incredible weapon. So let's talk about the weapon itself first of all. Of course, it has the perk, Night Sworn Sight. Night Sworn Sight states that whenever you get a final blow, you get Night Sworn Sight. While Night Sworn Sight is active, any final blow that you get will grant you True Sight. It will also increase your reload speed and precision damage. And then submunitions, which are part of the next perk, will weaken targets. Its other perk is Heart Piercer. Rounds from this weapon shatter into submunitions on impact. Basically, it is a precision slug shoddy, but once that's precision slug hits a target, it will shatter, or not a target, but once it hits anything, wall, rock, another guardian, it will shatter into 6 other submunitions that will have a little bit of tracking. So that's what that is. It also has 4 catalysts, the first one being Repulsor Race, the second one being Loose Change, then Stats for All, and Cascade Points. Sorry, I was trying to remember those off the top of my head. It's also a craftable weapon if you care about that kind of things. Now, whenever I look at exotics and what makes an exotic good, I look for 3 things in particular. Thing number 1 is the add clear potential. Think of something like Trinity Ghoul, maybe Sunshot. These have S+ tier add clear potential. Then I look at high health targets, killing potential. Okay, think of things like maybe Parasite, or Legend of Acreus. Like, these do a lot of damage. And finally, I look at survivability. Survivability, I think, is pretty obvious, like what that one is. Think of maybe like Edge of Intent, Edge of Action, things that are going to help keep you alive. Crimson, Red Death. And whenever I'm ranking an exotic and how good it is, I'm looking at all of these different factors, and I'm kind of weighing in, like, okay, like, Sunshot, for example. The Sunshot has insanely good add clear, but it doesn't have survivability necessarily. It doesn't really have any high health target damage, but its add clear potential is so high that it makes it S tier. When I think of Parasite or something like that, Parasite has so much burst damage in just one shot. It has the highest burst damage in one shot in the game, but it doesn't have that sustained damage, doesn't have add clear potential, stuff like that. But each aspect of these weighs a little bit in on how good a weapon is. And Slayer's Fang has all 3 of these, and it does all 3 of these quite well. And in fact, I would go as far to say it does all 3 of these exceptionally well, especially if you're building into the Void Kit, which I will have a build a little bit later on in the video if you want to get in here and really pop off with the shotgun. But with that being said, I want to talk about the add clear of the shotgun first, because obviously I think when most players think of a shotgun, add clear does not come to mind. I mean, I think the closest shotgun that we have in game currently that could add clear is like maybe Conditional Finality. Maybe an ignition can kill multiple enemies. Maybe the shattering effect from freezing a target can kill multiple enemies, but that's not really add clear. And like, yeah, you can think, okay, well, Chaperone, for example, you get more precision damage, but again, is Chaperone really good at clearing adds? No, I don't think it is. When it comes to add clear, shotguns are not known for their add clear potential, but this weapon clears adds extremely well. It does way better than I thought it would. And the reason why is because those submunitions that shatter off of targets when you hit them, you shoot the first target, and those 6 little bullets go off and they track other targets. And it's not like, you know, truth level tracking or anything crazy like that, but they go off, like they intentionally go off towards other targets. I find myself generating orbs of power like almost every single kill because those sub-munitions are breaking off and they're going and tracking other targets, which is incredible. And hopefully you'll see some of that in the background. Like I shoot one shot and next thing you know, like 3 or 4 enemies are dead and gone, which is like, I did not expect the shotgun to be that good in that department. I mean, again, it's a shotgun. You don't expect a shotgun to be doing ad clear, but this thing is doing ad clear. Now, again, is the ad clear as good as like Trinity Ghoul or Sunshot? No, it's not quite that level of like good, but it is still very good. Like if you have a group of enemies together, you're going to be able to, if not kill them all, get them all weakened, get them all into a point where you can finish them, you know, then you can start build crafting into whatever you want to build craft into. But yeah, the ad clear potential is actually much, much higher than I expected for a shotgun, which is, I think for ad clear, I would put it probably like high B, maybe even low A in terms of, you know, special ammo, like clear, like ad clear, right? You know, things like Choir of One would beat it. Things like Ergo Sum would definitely beat it in terms of the ad clear department. But let's go ahead and move on from ad clear and talk about the high health target killing potential. This thing has definitely got that. This thing has some incredibly high damage because of Night Sworn Sight and because of the fact that you can weaken targets. Of course, you have the weaken effect, which is going to make a target take 15% more damage. Then, while Night Sworn Sight is active, the precision damage that you can actually do is increased by, I believe, about 15% more. So, all in all, you're dealing 30% more damage to targets with a precision slug shotty. Like that's a lot of damage. Like this thing's high health target killing potential is really, really high. In fact, when I was doing onslaught, or just a regular onslaught, not a master expert onslaught, but during a regular onslaught, I'm able to 2-shot champions, like barrier champions, before they can put their shield up, which is a lot of damage. And I think that that's definitely, like, it definitely competes for some of the highest special ammo damage in the game. I'm sure you could probably find somebody doing test videos on the overall damage, but even just in one shot, like it's dealing so much damage. So the ad clear is, like I said, ad clear, like, you know, A, B, kind of somewhere on that line in between. But in terms of high health target killing potential, this thing is definitely in the S tier. Like it does a lot of damage. It out damages some heavies, which is crazy. And then of course we have our last category, which is survivability. And the survivability on this thing is very, very good. It's a void weapon. It has repulsor brace. Not only does it have repulsor brace, but it has a built-in self-contained loop. You don't have to be on void to get the survivability from this weapon. You can be on, let's say you put on stasis, for example. You know, you get a kill, you get Night Sworn Sight going, you get another kill, it kills the weakened target, that gives you an overshield, right? And then you just continuously do that because since it's weakening the targets, you're naturally able to kill those targets and it's giving you that overshield. It's constantly refreshing your overshield. The survivability is very, very good. Survivability, I would say, is also up there in S tier, and especially with the build that I'm using. And this is something I didn't mention earlier in, you know, the categories, but this has a lot of synergy with Void. Like a lot of synergy with Void. It can synergize with Echo of like Harvest. You know, it can synergize with a lot in the Void category. And so that is just one other thing that makes it such an incredibly powerful weapon. Like that's another thing that makes it so good. Now I want to talk about some of the like potential shortcomings of the weapon, because it's not the perfect gun. I wouldn't say this is like an S++ tier weapon. I would say for me right now, it is in S tier on a personal level, and we'll talk more about the personal aspect of that in just a second. But it does have its shortcomings. Primary shortcoming number one is that it is still a shotgun, so it doesn't have range. Like if you're taking this up against the Witness, you're not even going to be able to damage the Witness because it's too far away. Oryx, you're not going to be able to damage Oryx unless you get right under him and, you know, your team's got a well back there, and just use something else. Like it's still a shotgun, so it doesn't have that, you know, that range utility. And I know that a lot of players, they don't like using shotguns in high level PvE content because of the risk reward factor. I 100% think that this weapon is definitely easily a shotgun that you can run around in Grandmaster level content with and survive, given the right build, of course. But it's amazing. It's an incredible build, but it does not have a lot of range. Outside of its range, though, I don't see a lot of shortcomings with the weapon. Its reload speed is incredibly fast. Why? It reloads in one shell. So, you know, most shotguns, if it's a 7-shell magazine, you got to pop in 7 shells real quick. You don't have to do that with this. You pop in 1 shell and it gives you all 7 rounds back, plus Night Sworn Sight, increasing that shotgun reload speed. Like, it is really fast. The reload's fast. You know, I guess if you really wanted to nitpick, you could say, oh, well, it's a precision shotty, so you have to get precision shots off, even though you really don't. Like, those sub-munitions, they shatter on anything. You can miss a shot, and those sub-munitions can go back and kill the target you were shooting at anyways, which has happened before, which is really cool. But I think really the only shortcoming of the weapon is the fact that it's a shotgun, so it doesn't have much range. But when you are in its range and when you are in its element, it is easily the best possible option you could use. Like, there's not an exotic shotgun, in my opinion, that is better than this weapon. And in fact, if I had to rank this, like, in terms of, you know, against all other exotic shotguns, even all other exotic special weapons, I would put this in the S tier category for exotic specials, exotic shotguns, and stuff like that. Now, I think it's also fair to acknowledge that there might be a little bit of a placebo effect going on here. Destiny, as we know, is not really in the most fun state it's been in. I think a lot of players are not playing Destiny, not because it's bad by any means, but because it's a lot of the same old. It's a lot of just repetitive content that players aren't a big fan of. This weapon has definitely changed that. It's like, you know, most people are currently in their prismatic age, you know, their prismatic titan age, where, you know, I'm going to consecrate everything, and, you know, that gets boring after a while. This is a refreshing way to play. In fact, I have seen more people using no backup plans than I've ever seen in my entire life. And the build that I've got today will have no backup plans featured as part of it because it's very good exotic when paired with the shotgun. But I think that there's a little element of that playing a part on me, because like you can look back and look at my time. Like, I haven't been playing Destiny very much over the holidays. Like, I've just been playing other games. I've been with family. I just haven't really had a desire to play. The shotgun is bringing me back. And maybe it's because, you know, it's a different playstyle. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's so fun. Maybe after I've had it in my hands for a couple months and I've been playing with it, you know, and we've got some other changes to other stuff in the game, it'll fall by the wayside and my rating will drop a little bit. But same time, I don't really know. Like, there is that placebo effect. There's the placebo effect that, hey, it's something new. It feels like in Destiny nowadays we rarely get something that's truly new, and this weapon is truly new. So maybe its newness is something that's really wearing on me. Like, I think there are some other reasons why I might be speaking so highly of the weapon, but I will say that it puts in the work, and especially if you know, do the build, which I'm going to showcase here in just 1 second. So yeah, that's Slayer's Fang in a nutshell. That's why I think it's so good. Let's talk about the build I have here that you can go in and try, because this build will allow you to use this weapon as your primary weapon. Okay, so here we are in game. I'm going to go ahead and show off the build. Of course, we're using Slayer's Fang, as well as no backup plans. I'll go over all the mods and stuff in just a second, but I'm going to start with the subclass. Use whatever super you want. I'm using Twilight Arsenal, just because that's, you know, it's good. But in terms of my other abilities, Rally Barricade, you could use whatever barricade you want. I'm using Shield Throw. I find Shield Throw to be just a little bit easier to use whenever I am, you know, in the heat of the moment than trying to run around Shield Bash. I'm using Magnetic Grenade because it has the fastest cooldown. For my aspects, I'm using Offensive Bulwark. Again, we're going to be having a bunch of Overshield. Overshield uptime is going to be near constant. So having Offensive Bulwark to buff our Overshield is going to be nice. I also have Unbreakable just for a little bit of extra survivability. If I have a teammate that needs to be revived or something like that, I can use Unbreakable, pick them up and stuff like that. But let's go over and go over the fragments. We have Echo of Harvest, Echo of Starvation, Echo of Obscurity, and Echo of Persistence. Now, when looking at this, you could, if you want to, you could switch out Starvation for Reprisal, because you are going to be surrounded a lot with this shotgun. I'm using this because I like Devour. I like the grenade energy gains that I get through Devour. But yeah, that's the subclass build. Of course, for the weapons, in the kinetic slot, use whatever you want. I would say use anything besides a special weapon because you don't want to be competing for ammo with Slayer's Fang. Even with the build we have, I tried this and there is some ammo competition because it substantially lowers the amount of ammo that you get whenever using two special ammo weapons. So I just put on Kvasov with Attrition, Orbs, and Pugilist. And then of course for my heavy, I have a Cosmic, which has Withering Gaze and Bait and Switch on it. Really use whatever you want. I would recommend using a Void Heavy just so it will synergize with some perks over here as well. But let's talk about the mods. Now I've taken off everything that wasn't pertinent to the build. So you'll see I have a bunch of mod slots on my arms. Fill those in with whatever you want. Fill these in with whatever you want. Fill that in with whatever you want. But on the helmets, I have 2 special ammo finders. Pretty self-explanatory. We want to find as much special ammo as we can. I also have Harmonic Siphon so that whenever I'm getting rapid kills with the shotgun, which happens all the time because again, the shotgun is killing multiple enemies in one shot, it's making orbs of power. I have a Void Loader on just because I do like the snappy, fast reload speed that you can get from this. I have 2 Void Reserve mods on. The reserves on this weapon will cap with only 2. So if you put on 3 reserve mods, you're getting no benefit out of the 3rd one. So instead of having 3 on, I put 2, and of course I have it charged up so I can carry 1 additional armor charge. On my boots, I have stacks on stacks so that every time I pick up an orb of power, I get 2 armor charges instead of 1. And of course, Harmonic Scavenger, this is a very important one. So I can pick up more ammo for my shotgun. Then tying all this stuff together, we have special ammo finishers so that finishers will generate ammo for everybody on my team, including myself. And remember, because you're finishing an enemy, it will spawn that special right on top of you, so you don't have to actively run and like go pick up the ammo. Like it just basically gives you free ammo. And I also have proximity ward on for a little bit more survivability whenever I am finishing those targets. The basic loop of this whole build is shotguns. Okay, like the point of using this is to make these shotguns as powerful as you can make them. Like this shotgun, like we said, it has ad clear, it has high health target, it has survivability. So all these mods, you don't need mods to build into, you know, stuff to make you more tanky or anything like that. You need mods that are going to make this shotgun better. With this particular build, I have never run out of ammo. Like I've never found myself in a situation where, oh, I need to go get ammo now, because all you have to do, the loop is use the shotgun and finish any enemy that you see needs to be finished. That easy. Okay, it's literally turn your brain off mode, and I love it. But yeah, that's the build. Let's go over the artifact mods. Now, the nice thing about this build, it is not beholden to the artifact. Like the artifact enhances the build, but everything will work without the artifact mods. But here's the artifact mods that I do have on: Rapid Impacts, Frenzied Hunger, Finders Keepers, Thick of It, Power from Pain, Concussive, Reload, Void Renewal, Old God's Right, and Supernova. Each of these is just going to be improving the shotgun, making it a little bit better. But again, you're not beholden to using the shotgun. Like it's not like, oh, well, you know, I don't have on Power from Pain or Old God's Right, so it's not going to be any good. Like after this season's over and we lose all these perks, these are still, like, it's still going to be an incredibly powerful build. But yeah, with that being said, though, that's Slayer's Fang. That's my whole thing on Slayer's Fang. It's such a good shotgun. I'm having so much fun with the weapon. I would strongly recommend that you go out and get the weapon. One of the nice things I should say about this weapon is that you only really have to run the mission twice and you can unlock everything. You run it once to get the weapon itself. Then the second time you do the mission, it doesn't have to be the expert, just the regular version of the mission. Just look up, you know, the organ codes for the organ. Just look up, you know, how to get all the catalysts. You can get all 3 catalysts, or all 4 catalysts, sorry. All 4 of the intrinsic upgrades as well in one run. It's super easy. So I would strongly recommend you go out and get this shotgun, do all the work to get the shotgun, to get the catalysts. It's an amazing shotgun, and that's about all I have to say about that. So yeah, hope you liked today's video. Do me a favor, drop a like. It does help the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, conversations, debates, discussions, all that good stuff. And do me one more favor. Watch the videos you see here on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you'll like them. Guys, we'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.